Hey, what's up there? This is Shep here. Today, finally, I'm doing an English version of PC, terrible PC ads on Facebook, Craigslist, eBay, whatever. Today it's gonna be Craigslist. I'm Austrian, so actually, it's a trouble for me to get to a site that is not used in Austria and have it be in English as well. As you can see, it's in German too, but the listings are actually English, so yeah, forgive me about that. It's gonna be as my German ones that I did. Probably didn't watch that because you need to understand German, so therefore it wouldn't make sense for it. Anyway, it's gonna be an unedited, kind of no frills, no editing, like as if you would wanna buy one and have to look at it and see what it goes. First one that I seen needs to been getting rid of as soon as possible. Need gone ASAP. 450 white rock. Okay, need to get away the white rock instead of the black rock PC there. Well, it looks like a nice PC, even though I can't stand those cases. Look at it. It's totally closed up. But what's the... Oh, wow. Holy shit. Okay, 6700K. Usable CPU, quad core from 2015, Skylake. Yeah, it's old. It's pretty old. It can't be on single player if you don't do anything. It's got a 1080 GTX 1080. That would be a decent card. It's not bad, but for 450 this is like a steal, even though there's no upgrade path. You're stuck on 4 cores because you have that 6700K in there. There is no better CPU for this board. What is it, C270? Could be. We don't know the motherboard yet. Obviously it's DDR4, 16 gigs of RAM, 1TB SSD though. Pretty dope PC for that price. I have to tell you, this is not bad at all. Actually, I thought it would be gross, but no, it's a usable PC. The CPU is on the slower side. It's fast, but it only has 4 cores. But you could use the RAM, probably the cooler, the case, and everything except CPU and motherboard. You can totally reuse a 1080. It's sometimes a little bit better 2060 with 2 gigs more. It's really not a bad card. Yeah, next one. This was actually a good one this time. I haven't expected that. Oh, there we have the terrible ones. Oh shit. A 5700G. A 3060 12 gig, okay, that costs a little bit more, but 12 gigs on a 3060 doesn't really make too much sense. $1,100 in Texas, I believe. A 5700G, great fucking dope ass processor. Don't get me wrong, 8 core 16 threads, yeah, it says. 16 gigs of RAM, it's too less. Why doesn't it have 32 gigs? There's no discussion. There is no 16 gigs of RAM anymore these days. The lowest is 32, so with that kind of CPU, with an 8 core, he should actually even have 64 gigs. Because what about Warzone, that can perfectly run on a 3060 and a 5700G. Cold War, that actually could use 32 gigs of RAM. It would stutter at 16, but if you say it doesn't, it is smooth on your PC, you never haven't seen smooth. If you think that system is a good smooth system on 16 gigs of RAM, you do a heck of a lot more in an 8 core chip than just gaming. But just saying, that's at least not 8 gigs. 500 gig NVMe is not bad. HDD 1TB extra. Ooh, might as well put a 1TB SSD, SATA SSD in there. I would not recommend HDDs these days. If you have big ass like Call of Duty Cold War or something on there, Cyberpunk, I would not suggest that to read off of a hard drive. That would be a terrible situation. 200 FPS in high settings, 1080p. I mean, which games? Yeah, Fortnite, GTA 5. Yeah, every fucking PC these days can play this. This is nothing special. This is actually could do a heck of a lot more than 200 FPS. Call of Duty Warzone, I bet it's gonna, yeah, it's gonna have, but not 200 FPS. It's not gonna have 200 FPS, guys, in 1080p. Even with a 3060 and it, nah, it's not gonna have. Especially the first Warzone, or the second Warzone. We have to speak of Warzone 2 right now, which is even worse of an optimization mess than the first ever one. 22 H2, at least that's current. Yeah, cyber power PC even, didn't I have not seen that? It's a cyber power PC, okay. Custom gaming by Power. Can you actually do customs on there? I'm not sure. Oh wow, that's the PC. It's not a bad PC, but for 1100 bucks, I don't know. And it comes with Windows 10. Okay, that's not bad of a PC at all. It should have 32 gigs of RAM though. If you have even a Ryzen 9 or getting a Ryzen 9 PC, really nice graphics card like a 3080, 4080 even for that matter, it should have 64 gigs, no doubt. 16 gigs of RAM is just, that's a media center PC. A glorified console has 16 gigs of RAM. But all in all, not bad, but the price is a little bit too high. I would say 850, 900 would be a better price for this. Since the 5700G is a weaker 5600X in terms of gaming, and that could be had for even, I don't know, 200 bucks, if that. You don't know which, does it say which mainboard? No, it's probably like a B450, B550. They ain't cost too much these days. Like you can have them for 150 bucks. Pretty good B550 bucks for 150 bucks. Since we don't know the mainboard in there, well, I would suggest the price is too high. The CPU should actually be swapped out of here. Maybe like a 5600G would suit that better than an 8-core chip on 16 gigs. It's not about with the time periods we are in now. Okay, next one. Let's see. Forget that's a 3080 PC right there. Okay, it's got a 3080. There's no price on it. Open-minded about anything. What you would trade? iPhone 6. But let's look at the PC though. 9900K. i7 9900K? Dude, there's no an i7 9900K. There's only an i9 9900K. But hey, at least 32 gigs of RAM. Even though the 9900K deserves 64. If I go with bite-sized tech, or actually tech deals, I have to agree, 32 gigs on that machine, okay, it's fine. It's fine. It's not like destroyingly bad or something. No, it's way better. C390, good motherboard, good RAM. I mean, one of the best still. 512 Samsung NVMe. We don't know which one, but probably a 980 or something, which is still fine. 1 terabyte HDD, get that shit out of here. 3080 EVGA, never a bad idea. To be honest, thermal take, ooh, liquid cooler. Other than the cases, everything else they make probably sucks. RM850 PSU, it's a little bit on the older side, but still very fits the PC. DG77, what is that case, bro? EVGA, okay, wow, they make cases too. For once. It's not a bad looking like it, how it looks. From the outside at least. No, it's not a bad PC. Very clean and nicely built. There's no unnecessary cable to be seen. It's very dark though. You just have to have RGB. I don't understand this. You can't see the parts though, but probably want a ridiculous price. Alrighty. But I don't have prices. Full gaming PC setup. Do you get the grandma table with it? Do you get the grandma table with it? Hey, oh, I got the feet too. Oh shit. Yeah, what are you offering me, buddy? Oh wow, $1,200, and I can already see it's not worth it. I buy power. Oh my god. Oh shit. What? $1,200. It's a 11700F. Not overclockable, but not a bad chip. A little bit under the price of it. We'll sell the PC only for $1,000. Okay. So now that I've seen that, we go after $1,000 now. 11700F. That's fine. 16 gigs again. Come on, bro. With a 2060. Okay, that's already not worth $1,000 even. The CPU is fine. It's a pretty nice CPU, pretty fast. Even though it's not overclocked, but it still goes to like, I think it doesn't have a graphics. It's not an APU wise. You lose integrated graphics. But just saying that's what the F stands, and the K is unlocked. The non-F and non-K cannot be overclocked, as well as the only with F in it, and also do have integrated graphics, but can't be overclocked, cannot be. But it's fine. It's like still I think 4.5 gigahertz. I think easily the 2060. Okay, that's fine. That's a pretty usable GPU these days still. 400 gig SSD and 1 terabyte HDD is already not worth $1,000, bro. Not way in hell. 60 gigs, not even 32 with a chip like that. 2060, bro. I can get that for $500. Oh, just saying. Yeah, including an Acer TUF. Yes, normal as standard 144 Hz panel. Yeah, those sucky keyboards that are really small and can't be even used to go into the BIOS settings. Yeah, wow. You have to have another keyboard laying around. Otherwise, you have to doing Alt all the time to get into the BIOS, if it works at all. Some keyboards don't even offer that. Yeah, the 60%, yes, dumb. Don't get 60% shit. Don't get all of this, in fact, and ask him for like $700. That's how much it is worth. It's I buy power, but probably a sucky, yeah, and a shady cooler on there. Probably a crappy motherboard as well. It's not $1,000, bro. Well, it might be $1,000 if you get me the original real wooden table with it, that I can then give to my grandma, because nobody with like 40 years of age would probably sit down on there and use his PC and not use it for a dining table, a small one. I don't know. Maybe grandpa and grandma would sit down there. Hopefully it's just to show their PC, but I would put it next to it and show it then. But oh man, that table. 144 Hz though, maybe get that if you want to. But otherwise it's just, it's not too generic. At least it's IPS, but even with that monitor included, it's like $700. It's not really more than that. Really not. It's an overclockable chip because it's an iBuy power. Might be putting on a shady ass $50-$60 mainboard. So even for an unlock, that's a really nice CPU, more higher end, but putting onto a budget board, so doesn't make that much sense. 16 gigs of RAM. People still think this is 2006, where they have to close everything to have lower latency. Might as well get a better PC or more RAM in this case. The 2060 is fine. The PC itself is fine, somewhat, but not for $1,000. It's way too much money. Even with that, nobody cares about it. Even though IPS 144 Hz is nice, IPS itself is nice. So that shit is not only fast, it even looks nicer than VA or, God forbid, TN panels that look horrible sometimes, especially the cheaper ones that you get thrown at your face looking at Amazon or something like that for a 144Hz panel. And then, nah, I skipped that. It's not worth it. Don't really buy that, even only if you can make him go like $700 for that. I don't want nothing, just a PC, maybe the monitor, because they're not much worth these days, even when there are IPS like that one. Okay, ooh, an Alienware. Do you get anything that terrible? That might not be bad. i7. It doesn't really say again which i7. 650 RX 580. That's like which one? 4 gig. 4790 non-overclockable 8 threads processor. You wanna have that 8 in there, even though it's just a 4-core processor, nothing more. The 8 threads doesn't save you. It's a 8 gigabyte RX 580 at least. That's nice. 96 FPS. Why that specific? In high settings, max 200 FPS. Yeah, for sure. Even though that one PC that had 200 FPS couldn't really do that. Now it's an even older, slower 4-core processor that should get 200. Yeah, but how? It would be like 30 in the 1% lowest probably. That's how slow this CPU is today. 16 gigs again, okay, that's fine for that age of that CPU. RX 580, that's a fine card. I mean, pretty old at this point. It's more like a 1070 on steroids, without anything special on there. Which model is it even? An Arma? Probably. No. Yeah, it's a cheap ass again. Okay. 1TB SSD. 650 NTEC pure power. 80 plus bronze. Ooh. Let's see. How is that? How old is it? Let's see on the forum, so I can, if Future X8T would load up. Okay, I can't find it. Probably, yeah, no. Yeah, probably it's about as old that you would expect, 2009, 2010, so I would not use that power supply anymore on a power hungry chip as this is. Thermaltake Versa N24 plug. Okay, never heard of that, but it's Thermaltake. At least we got that knowing. Games, Fortnite, GTA. It's always the same fucking few games. Do people really not play much more than this shit? Do you need even a new PC for that? Oh man. I think it's the same guy, huh? Not Kendall LTX. Okay. Complete. Yeah, 200 FPS is bullshit on the RX 580 in high settings, and on Call of Duty Warzone on a 4790K, no, non-K even, this is even worse, 3.6 gigahertz, 4 gigahertz, that's it. There's nothing more to be had on there. It's pretty slow ass PC for 200 FPS, high FPS gaming. 96 FPS in high settings, max 200, yeah, but on 800 per 600 probably. Wah. Moving on. Don't get that. They don't have any prices on there, right? This is really ridiculous. Okay, Leon Lee, 9900 KF. Is there a 9900 KF? 3060 Ti. Noticed that the F are always a little bit cheaper because they lack the integrated graphics option. 9900 KF, dope CPU. It's just as good as the K variant, but only without the graphics on board, so you just pay less, have the same CPU. Probably not really. ATXT X204 million. Okay, 3060 Ti, not bad. 16 gigs, come on, why does it only have 16 gigs on the 9900K? And the 3060 Ti does actually need more than 16 gigs of RAM. Play Call of Duty Cold War with 16 and then with 32. Believe me guys, the PC is much more smoother. It doesn't give you more FPS with 32 gigs, it doesn't give you nothing, but it's smoother and faster in loading and all that, because you can load it into RAM, which is way faster than anything else in your PC in terms of data swapping wise. 3200 megahertz, that's pretty fucking nice. SF600, hold the fuck on, is that old? Yes, kinda. Really not suited for a PC like this. Leon Lee, Q58 C390 IR Cross Pro. Okay. Oh, that's a mini PC too. Probably having heat issues. How much is it crammed into there? There's even glass on there. Holy crap. Holy crap. That, probably that's why he's selling it. Because that little thing on top wouldn't give a shit. For 1099. Okay, I guess the price is not too bad. I would say 850 or so, but it's not too bad. But I wouldn't get this for one reason. This case, see, that is not bad. But look at the GPU and look at the side panel. If you have it there, it's just glass on the bottom. That's it. It's just glass. Boy, that GPU would get hot in there. Even though it's a 3060, but the 3060 Ti is very fast. Uses about like 300 watts, I would say, or 250. You will start to feel that. Okay. Oh, 500. At 1060, 8700, 500 bucks. That's the Dell Precision too. Oh. Okay, but the specs itself is not bad. No. Okay, there the 16 gigs makes sense. It's a good PC though. I would probably say 400, 450, but it's not bad overall, considering there's a fucking graphics card in a professional OEM machine, which there shouldn't be any in there, but not bad. Transformed a Dell Precision into a gaming PC, sorta. It's not bad. That's actually good for once, but don't get that because, yeah, because of that, because it's a Dell machine. Oh shit. There's the first R15 2100 bucks. I guess people still like Dell Alienware. Huh? You can say that. Oh shit. 13900 KF, which is probably a 13700 KF, because it's what the actual piece of junk. I thought it was good. It would be really good. 13900 KF i9. Wow. 256 gigs of NVMe. Are you kidding me? That's crap for a PC for $2,000. No matter what CPU it does have. 1 terabyte HDD. Oh gosh. 3060 Ti should be getting straight out of here. Even both of these things should be saved from this coffin, plastic / 2004-ish aluminum coffin. If you watch Gamers Nexus, you see this shit and you want to punch your monitor, but at the end of the day you don't do it because you would lose a monitor. That has nothing to do with that PC being so terrible. 3900 KF, second best cheap CPU ever right now. Costs a little bit. You can do anything with this. This is a murder CPU, but 3060 Ti, 16 gigs of DDR5 RAM. Really? So it's got that should actually also might as well put 128 gigs of RAM into this, because 16 gigs of RAM on it, I already told you that wouldn't change. When you play a game on there, that that draws a lot of RAM, I would say. Sucks a lot of RAM. Like 64 at minimum should be in there. An old DDR5 is really expensive still, but they put some shit in. Okay, at least the mouse is not that bad. I would buy this PC just for the mouse and give it to Gamers Nexus and make an analysis. The mouse is pretty cool actually, but that PC is junk, straight out of the junkyard. 2 green PCBs, at least it's not single channel RAM. 1350 PSU. Okay, doesn't need that much power at all because the 3060 Ti. Cache only, no builds larger than 20. Wow. So he can scam you. Probably. 2200 bucks at 20 bill caches. Oh my god, you would take a long time to even like oh shit. Dark side of the moon chassis. More like the dark side of the dumpster type of PC, because you would shove it under a dumpster. Crytek CPU cool, liquid cooling, blah blah blah. Clear side panel. Yeah, but it's not glass. Rear cable cover. Yep. Who cares about that shit? Comes with a final mouse. Beside, okay, don't know that, but please message me with any question. Will not take the add down until I have cash. Oh man, 16 gigs of RAM, 3060 Ti in a machine with an i9 13900 KF. Even it's not so that I'm so pissed about a 3900 KF having a 3060 Ti. That alone makes me mad, but not as mad because it's usable. But 16 gigs of RAM, it should be 64 at least. There's no talking, guys. 16 gigs of RAM is not within our time period anymore. 16 gigs, that's barely over a console. A console has 16 gigs of RAM. GDDR5 even. A PS5's got 16 gigabytes of RAM, and you buy a 2 grand PC with 16 gigs of RAM. Are you insane? Go ahead and play. That 3900K would be fucked. Would be slower than it could be because of that 60 gigs of RAM. No matter how, you may probably play on low to get all this fucking nice FPS, and probably have to play on low because the textures couldn't be even loaded into RAM, so it would be even slower. Oh my god. But guess it's Alienware, but I think he parted that out even worse, because I don't think even Alienware selling this kind of junk. A 3060 Ti with a 3900 KF, I bet that's not even that true. Doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Even a 256 gig NVMe is, it's like people almost would have that in RAM. I would have half of that NVMe in RAM with that CPU. You can bet your butts. 128 gigs of RAM I would certainly use with that i9 for sure. Otherwise it's total waste of money on a CPU like this. Fucking nice. You probably want to have sex with that CPU because it's that good. Alright, next one. Whoa, piece of junk. Sorry for the little break. Had a smartphone came in that I have to fix. Okay, let's see. That's just a gaming PC, 800 bucks, 840. Let's see. 12100F. Oh, slower than my 7820X probably, because it's 4 cores. I bet it's just 4 cores. Let's see. 4 plus 4 or what? Yeah, it's 4 cores. 4 cores, 8 thread CPU. Holy cow, that's slow. I mean, it's a fast processor, don't get me wrong, but you start a game up, it's gonna be fully loaded onto the 4 cores. 1650 500, don't buy that. 8 gigabytes of RAM. It's again an I buy power. You don't buy power with I buy power. Not buy power should be called. I buy ducks and I buy, I don't know. I buy turtle should be called, because this is a turtle of a PC. Slate MR Slate. LL for LS for super slow. I don't know. Don't buy this. 1650 is almost unusable this day. It's so slow. It's slower than a GTX 980 by far, and that says something. And 980 is barely on the edge of doing anything with that card these days. Have used it. Have compared it. It's slow. It's slow in every regard. Don't play Warzone on it unless you play ultra low and the game looks like someone puked at his computer screen. 8 gigs, don't do it. And the 12100F, oh my god, for 840, that PC is worth, like, let's be honest, 200 bucks. It is worth 300 bucks. 1650 is a 980. I'd rather just swap that, sell it, and get a 980. But then you will end up with paying more. Probably not, because that shit is probably sometimes selling for more than a 980 would. No, and the 12400F, it's a fast CPU for open up Google Chrome, but 2 tabs more, too much is like too much for the CPU. Oh my god, and 8 gigs of memory. No, that's like a glorified, nice 4K Netflix machine. It's really not much more. If that shit can even output 4K. The i3 could, but it doesn't have integrated graphics card. So if that would have an integrated graphics card, you can swap that, sell it, and use it as a media center PC for 4K watching on Netflix, because that would be totally fine on that CPU. But holy crap, that's awful for 840. Blah. Ah, well. That was it for today. I hope you liked it. If you wanna watch more, just tell me in the comments. That's what they're for. Hope you liked that. Don't do that in English most of the time. But yeah, hopefully you liked it. I could help a little bit more people other than German guys not to buy into this shit, because that's the most horrible PC I've seen one in a while. 840 bucks. I get a 5700G that would destroy this CPU, and get a 980 that would destroy this card, and it would be far below 840 bucks. You could even get like a 12600K for that, and a 1660 or 1070, which destroys this completely, and has 8 gigs of VRAM. Yeah, and 16 gigs of RAM. Just get G-Skill egg is like 35-40 bucks. 16 gigs, if that. Used probably 25. So no, that is horrible. But hopefully you have a good one and like that video. If not, then you didn't lose much other than 30 minutes of me talking. Peace out, you're Jonas Scheppinger, and see you next time.